you guys? So today's video is going to be a little bit different and we're super excited about it. So this video is for those of you who are considering buying a school bus, have already bought a school bus and are in the process of converting it, or are just dreaming of the one day that you might do something wild and crazy like this. This one goes out to you guys, so let's cue that intro.
Oh, this is everything with you right next to me, so alive, and tonight I'm thinking that I don't wanna go. This is everything with you right next to me, so alive, and tonight I'm thinking that I don't wanna go.
Okay, so now if we're honest, before we started this Skoolie adventure, we knew nothing about school buses.
Zero.
I mean, who really knows anything about school buses other than school bus drivers? And so we actually learned so much about this and this process, what it looks like, what to do, how to do things, is just from this amazing community that we've just fell in love with. And so we wanted to make this video of tips and tricks, or tips and advice that you would give to somebody if they are considering converting a school bus. And so we thought, who better to give this advice than the very people that we got all our advice from.
So that's right, we teamed up with the coolest, the baddest, the raddest Skoolie people on the block, and they're gonna share some of their tips and tricks for Skoolie life for you guys.
So first up is our good friends from Basically Nomads, and they're gonna talk to you about one of the first things you need to think about when buying a school bus is, why are you buying a school bus?
Yeah.
What is the purpose? What are you gonna do with it? So guys, take it away.
Hey guys, we're Basically Nomads, and we just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how the purpose of your build can affect your design. So probably the coolest thing about owning a Skoolie, and especially if you're going to be building it custom, is that it really gets to be whatever you want it to be. But probably the most important thing that you're going to have to do before you can even start building is really identify what that purpose is.
So I'm sure you guys have spent some time looking up Skoolies, maybe through YouTube or Instagram, and ultimately you see that a lot of them look very similar from the outside, but when it comes to the inside and their design purpose of the build, they're all very different. When it comes to building a school bus, you're going to want to ask yourself a few questions. Do you plan on using your Skoolie for traveling? And if so, how often do you plan on traveling in it? Are you going to be going to hot climates or cold climates? You know, those are things to think about. Are you going to want to have your friends and family over? If so, your build and your design of your build are greatly going to be affected.
So finally, I'm going to give you guys a real life example of how our purpose dictated our design and our build. So travel was never even a question for us. We knew we were going to travel, and we also knew that wherever we traveled, we wanted this bus to feel like a home and not just a bus.
Absolutely.
So a couple other things that were important to us that also affected our design is, since we're traveling, we want to be able to boondock, which is just a camp off-grid. We installed a 100-gallon water tank, solar panels, and a solar system, as well as an electric generator to kind of facilitate that, and that affected our design.
So these are all things you're going to want to think about when it comes to your bus build, and we can't wait to see it.
Awesome, thank you guys, that was perfect. Make sure that you all check out Brianna and Devin from Basically Nomads and their super cool cat. They're incredible people to follow, and asking that really important question of why is so important, because are you going to be living in the Skoolie full-time, off-grid, on-grid, because that does affect your design and how you approach that.
So speaking of design, next up is our good friends Anna and Kyle from Winston on the Road, and these guys are just phenomenal at design. That actually, just the details that they put on that bus just verges on perfection in my opinion. And so these guys are going to talk to you about how to plan out and design the layout of your bus. So guys, take it away.
What's up everybody?
Hi everyone, so we are Anna and Kyle, Porter and Jimmy from Winston on the Road, and we were asked to talk about the layout.
Yeah, this is one of the most exciting parts about designing your own bus conversion. You know, like most people, we started out drawing it out on a piece of paper, actually on the computer in SketchUp, and then to help us kind of see it in real life, we decided to tape it out full scale on our apartment floor. If you don't have that kind of space, then what you could do is just take a piece of chalk and draw it out on the street. Just seeing it full scale helps out tremendously.
It really does.
But one of the things that's really important is kind of figuring out what spaces are most important to you.
Yeah.
So for us, we wanted to prioritize our kitchen, the garage space, and our bathroom space. So what we did is we sacrificed having a full-time bed so we could have a fold-out bed instead. But some people love taking naps, shout out to Ashley, so they need that full-time bed.
And so just to let you know, we never actually stuck to our original layout. We have changed our layout many, many times just because there was, you know, little quirks about little spaces around the bus, and that's totally fine. But just to let you know, it's okay to change it as many times as possible.
Yeah, but once you have that list of what's important to you, it really helps kind of weed out options that aren't going to work out. So
hope this helps and enjoy the rest of the video.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, so we absolutely love these guys. We actually live in the same city, and you've seen them on our channel a lot, on our Instagram a lot, and we've just become such good friends with them. And as they were talking about design and layout and all that stuff, it's so true to prioritize what's important to you. To us, a full-time bed was super important. As Kyle mentioned, I love me some naps. So yeah, prioritizing what's important to you is great.
That's right. So as you're prioritizing what is important to you, one thing you need to consider is your budget, because things start to add up in this process. There's big expenses and there's little expenses. And so talking about budget, Adam from Becoming Borderless is going to talk to you guys about that.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Adam from Becoming Borderless, and I'm here to talk to you about budget. Exciting, I know, but it's important. Here's why. Most of the people that I have discovered and that have reached out to us, or I've talked to and asked questions about how to build a Skoolie or renovating an RV. Here's the thing, most of us, we're not professionals. So you have to make room for mistakes, okay? It took me 2 or 3 times a project. I had to mess up, repeat, finally got it right. I've done 2 builds now, 1 Skoolie, 1 RV renovation, and it has taken probably double the budget each time. The other thing I want you to think about is the little things like screws or brackets or little pieces of plumbing, things that add up fast that you don't typically think about. Make sure you have a little bit of room in your budget for that. The other budget thing I want you to think about is time. Time is a huge factor in these things, and we want to rush them as quick as possible, but take it easy, go slow. Work hard, have fun in the process, but don't burn yourself out on the front end. Make sure you leave plenty of room so that you, by the time that you do move in, that you're not completely burnt out and hating life. So add a little bit of cushion into your window of when you were trying to hit the road. It's going to help you, I promise. We had a 4-month build project. It took us a year. Then we would switch to the RV. We had a 2-week time budget, and it took us a month. So if that's it helped you, I sure hope that it is, and I hope that you build fast, build well. Hit us up when you're on the road. We'll hope to see you out there.
Adam and his wife Destiny are the real deal. We've been able to spend a little bit of time with these guys, and they're so much fun to be around, and they've not only done 1 conversion, but 2 conversions. And they're just crushing it. They have their own TV show actually on the Design Network that you guys should totally check out. It's called Becoming Borderless. So make sure you check them out on that and all their social media stuff. But just like they were saying, I mean, it's so important to consider the expense and cost of all these different things.
Now, talking about expense, one thing that you need to check out before you buy a bus is the condition of the bus. And one thing in particular you want to be checking out is rust.
Dun, dun, dun.
You don't want to buy a bus that is completely rusted up and find yourselves in a money pit when you're starting to tear this thing apart or put it together. And so now rust is not a deal breaker. However, you just need to know the right steps to take in order to deal with rust. So our friends at Nautical Nomads are going to talk about rust and what to do if you encounter rust.
We're Wes, Liz, and Finley, and together we make the Nautical Nomads. We are an adventurous family living in Sarasota, Florida, who have decided to morph a school bus into a moving mini mansion. So we're going to start at the beginning, and we suggest you always rip up your plywood, even if it's in good shape, because you never know what is lurking underneath. It's better to fix it in the beginning than have a hole rust out in your floor cave in. We then loosened any surface rust with a wire brush attachment on our angle grinder. And we vacuumed it up and sprayed it down with a hose and mopped the floors with degreaser. Luckily, we didn't have any spots that were rusted through, so we didn't have to do any major repairs. But if you do have holes in your floor, the best thing to do is to cut out the affected area and replace with either a welded or riveted patch, because rust will spread. The next step was OSFO. This stuff is magic. It stops the rusting process, and once it dries, there will be a layer of dust on your surface. Make sure you wipe it clean with mineral spirits before you paint. We siliconed all the small metal joints and holes and used Bondo for the bigger ones where the seats were attached, and the final step was to paint. We used this Rust-Oleum metal primer. If you're lucky enough to have no rust like Scott and Ashley, then you won't have to do this, but if you do find rust under your floorboards, we hope this video helps you figure out what to do with it.
That was awesome. Thank you, Nautical Nomads. Make sure that you guys check them out and give them a follow. Wes, Liz, and Finley are awesome and so much fun to follow. And, you know, we got to stick with Liz because Scott and Liz are from the same motherland, so.
Represent.
Yep.
Okay, so now that you know some things to check out before buying a bus, one of the other things you need to think about is once you buy a bus, where are you going to store it? As most of you guys know, we're lucky enough to park Honey on our driveway, but for most people that's not always the case. Now that doesn't mean you can't buy a bus, you just have to figure out where you're going to store it. And so we have our friends Shawn and Ash, and they're going to share with you how they are uniquely storing their bus and able to work on it.
What's up guys, I'm Shawn.
And I'm Ash.
And we are converting this 27-foot school bus into our first home. We are so happy to be part of this welcoming community.
You guys can follow along with our adventures at Shawn and Ash on YouTube. But for today, our good friends at the Hive Drive asked us, where do you keep your schoolie?
When you're trying to find a place to store your bus, the most optimal place would obviously be at home, right? Your backyard and your driveway, lots of open space, electrical hookup, maybe a toilet.
Maybe even a friend or family owns the place. However, we didn't have that option, so we decided to keep our bus at this boat and RV storage facility.
Make sure you call ahead to these places because a lot of them won't let you work on the property, but we were lucky enough to find one that did.
Thank you so much, Shawn and Ash, for sharing that. We love following these guys. We actually bought our buses around similar times as each other, so it's been really cool, like tracking each other's progress. However, they are way further along than us,
Sure.
And they don't even have their bus stored at their property. So we need to pick up our slack. It is a real humility check over here.
So yeah, even if you don't have a driveway to park your bus on, there is other creative ways in order to continue to work on your bus. Honestly, a lot of working on your bus is just finding creative ways to fix problems or to approach situations. Not every bus is the same, so it takes creativity. And so our friends Meredith and Paco are going to talk to you guys about creative ideas when bus building.
Hey guys, we're Meredith and Paco, and we are converting
this giant school bus.
Our top tips for somebody that's converting a school bus is to reuse, repurpose, and use creative problem solving.
Whenever you do your demo and you take stuff out, save everything that you can that's still good quality. Screws that aren't rusted, metal you're not using. We reused our ceiling metal that we took out to build these big guys. These are our storage boxes underneath our bus. We've also used this metal to patch different holes for things that we've taken out, to build our windshields for our solar panels, and all kinds of other little projects here and there.
One of the things that we use creative problem solving for is making these boxes. We didn't have a brake to bend the metal that we repurposed from the roof, so we created our own brake. It was very comical, but we got it done.
It's also a good stress relief.
Another instance of creative problem solving is by creating the front door. We wanted to make sure that the front door stayed as original as possible, and what we did to make sure we did that was use rivets instead of welding.
Just take the dive, go get your bus, make sure you get the right one for you, and be prepared to be creative in solving your problems because there's gonna be a lot of them, and reuse everything you can.
And don't forget to
enjoy life.
stay positive,
and keep going places.
Suckers!
I'm not a sucker. You're a sucker.
All right, but for real, thank you, Meredith and Paco. These guys are amazing and put out incredible content on YouTube. Honestly, content that has helped us so much on our bus build. And we recently installed a door lock on our emergency exit door, all thanks to them. We watched their YouTube video, got what they told us to get, and it worked perfectly.
Now, as creative as you are, you just have to anticipate that you are going to encounter problems and things are going to break and go wrong. And so our friends Nick and Frankie over at Happy Homebodies are going to talk to you guys all about that.
Hey, we're Nick and Frankie from the Happy Homebodies bus, and we've officially lived in our school bus for a full year. Our friends Scott and Ashley from the Hive Drive bus asked us to give a little advice to anybody who's looking to do the bus life or just interested in general.
Our number one piece of advice is to roll with the punches. It's not glamorous. It's not necessarily easy. A lot of stuff is going to break. A lot of stuff is going to go wrong. And to give you a few examples for us, when we first moved into the bus and headed towards Colorado, it turned out to be the coldest week ever for the United States. -40s. Our diesel gelled up. We got stuck for 2 days at a truck stop. Our fireplace smoked us out. We ended up having to sleep in our car. Dogs peed in the car. We barely rolled the bus here. When we finally got to Colorado, we got a ticket and a warning from the police to get out of the way and get off the street. And, you know, even a year in, last week we had our water pump go out and then our shower head. And so it's always something. So you got to kind of persevere through and just kind of keep a positive attitude and realize that you did this for a reason and to kind of just keep chugging along.
Yeah, I would just say that learn from everything that you're doing and expect things to go wrong. Don't get discouraged when they do go wrong because it will happen. And like I said, just learn from it and keep moving forward.
So again, we're Nick and Frankie from the Happy Homebodies bus. 1 year down.
Lots of years to go.
So good luck with the journey and we wish you guys well.
Thanks, guys. We miss you and your pups and your beautiful bus. So these guys have been living in their bus for over a year and they know all those things to kind of anticipate, and just like they were sharing, take their advice to heart. We take it to heart. We've learned a lot from them and continue to learn from them. So make sure to go check them out over on their Instagram and TikTok and soon to be YouTube channel.
Yeah, we love learning from people that have experience and that have actually been on the road, because truth is we're not on the road yet, so we don't fully know what to anticipate. And so talking about being on the road, one of the things you want to consider is where are you going to stay once you're actually traveling? Yeah, there's RV parks and stuff like that, but there are other options. And so our friends at Number One Bus are going to talk to you guys all about that.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristin, this is Rome.
And I'm Will, and this is Russ.
Oh, do you love your puppy? And this is our home, the Number One Bus.
So our friends, let me put him down. Our friends over at the Hive Drive bus asked us to kind of pick a topic to talk about. So we're going to talk about, you know, places we stay on the road and staying off grid. So
okay, so we have a few things that we go to find places to stay at, and I would say the first is iOverlanders. Whenever we're in a pinch or we're looking for a free place to stay, we open up the iOverlander app and we can usually find something pretty neat around us.
Yeah, and that's our go-to app of choice. We built the bus to stay off-grid, so we have 500 watts of solar, composting toilet, propane, so we've actually been able to stay off-grid for up to 30 days. And iOverlander is the app that we use for that, because most of the time there's not hookups, there's not that on that style app.
Right, and it's also free. So a paid resource that we use is Harvest Host, which we love, and there's hundreds, thousands of Harvest Host places around the country.
We stayed at all different places, like little markets, and it's cool. You'll stay out and, you know, on their farm, per se, and then they have a market inside, and you can go get groceries and good natural products.
Harvest Host is really cool. And those are just a few of the ones we use, and we have an actual 20-minute video on our YouTube channel called Where We Sleep, where we go into more depth about how we find places to sleep on the road. So you can check that out over at Number One Bus. So if you would like to follow along with our journey, you can find us on Instagram and YouTube at Number One Bus.
Thanks for checking us out.
Thank you guys so much for sharing all of that. Honestly, it's such good information. And Kristin, Will, Rome, and Rush are amazing to follow. They're experienced at Skoolie living. They know what they're talking about. And Scott and I can't wait to get our own Harvest Host membership and feel super official, super legit. It's going to be awesome.
That's right, to just be on the road and meet up with all of you guys. It's just going to be so exciting.
Yep.
So there you are, guys, a bunch of information from people that are actually doing this, that are actually living the Skoolie life, or in the midst of making this happen, from real life people. And so we hope you enjoyed all this advice. One of the resources that we'd encourage you guys to check out is this book. So this book is by Skoolie Home officials, Jeff and Missy Miller, and it's basically a step-by-step guide of converting a bus. It's called DIY Skoolie Guide.
It's so good.
Yeah, we've loved having this book, just because, again, we just don't know what we don't know, and there's sometimes when we're approaching something that we just don't know the best way to do it, and this book is such a great resource to open up, to flick to the page of where we're at, and learn all about it. These guys have converted so many buses, and so they're experienced, and so we just highly encourage you guys, if you're considering converting a bus by yourself, or even if you're in the midst of converting a bus by yourself, to check out this resource. It's so great and we love having it. We'll put a link in the description below, and so make sure you guys go check that out.
And now our piece of advice is just have fun. Genuinely, just have so much fun. You're doing this and you're choosing to go off the beaten path and do something wild and adventurous and unique. Because you have that sense of adventure in you. So just take each moment as it comes, enjoy the journey, have so much fun with it, and just know that yes, at times it is going to be frustrating, and at times it is going to be difficult, and there's going to be challenges, but you can make the most of every opportunity, and you can make the most of it while those things are happening. So have a blast, you guys. What we're doing is amazing.
That's right. And so, talking about having a blast, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that like button. You see what I did there?
That was a good segue.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we'd love for you to click that subscribe button and come along for our journey. And also, go ahead and subscribe to every single channel that was just talked about in this video. These guys are awesome. We love just getting to know them and actually just been part of this community.
The best.
Yeah, we absolutely love it. We can't say that enough. And so, guys, we're excited that you're here, and we can't wait to see where this journey goes. But until then, we'll be back next week.
Hope they cut that part.
I hope they leave it in.
No.